What's up, everybody? Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group, and you're here for episode 188 of Standing Out, daily podcast about sales, marketing, leadership. Today with Jorie Myers. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning. So happy to have you with us today. Hope that you had a great weekend and hope you are excited about this week because it is Turkey Week, everybody. Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, which means probably a short week for a lot of you out there. Make sure that you are getting it all in. Become super efficient this week, everybody. And remember, it is Monday, and that means that we had another episode of Iron Minds this morning with my man Hayden Allred. If you missed that, you can check it out on demand on our YouTube page or on LinkedIn, or you can catch it on audio podcast as well. Had a great conversation today about what matters most. So check that out when you get a chance, and let us know what you think about that. Also, hey, listen, while you're out there on surfing the web on the old internet, make sure you check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com and see how we are helping companies move out of the realm of obscurity to becoming a well-known and well-trusted brand. That's really important to grow revenue, and we're all about helping companies tell that story. So fill out a form. We'd love to talk to you and show you our playbook of how we help companies with their SEO, all the way down to their content and their Google ads, and making an impact for companies in that space. While you're there, you might as well pick up a little bit of swag and support what we're doing on the swag store. We got great stuff. We got water bottles, coffee mugs, all kinds of great stuff for standing out and the other things that we are doing. And make sure that you use coupon code THANKFUL, all capital letters, to get 20% off of your entire order. We appreciate the support, and make sure you're pursuing excellence every time you look at those items. Send us a picture when your merch shows up. We'd love to see that and show it off, which would be awesome. Also, while we're here, we want to give a little shout out to our sponsor, TAFS, good guys in freight factoring, helping owner operators and carriers keep those wheels turning with discounts on insurance and tires, as well as cash flow resources and all kinds of other services as well. So check them out at tafs.com. Let them know that Trey sent you and get started with them today. All right, listen, we got a great week of shows, even though it's a short week, and we are not going to have a show on Thursday this week. It's Thanksgiving, everybody, so enjoy your holiday with the family, whatever you're going to be doing. Got a great show today with our friend Jorie Myers back on the program. Chris Brewer tomorrow from River City Logistics, talking about how he started that company and why he started it and what he's doing there. Celine Clayton, one of the newest members, actually not the newest member anymore, but one of the newest members of Greenscreens.ai on Wednesday. And then my good friend Cheryl Isaac, who is a consultant, on Friday, talking about the value of having external consultants in your business. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started and bring our guest on today. He runs a dispatch service down in Atlanta called Atlanta Dispatch Services, of all things, plus runs a great social media platform on Clubhouse, has a great following on that, incredible guests every week. And we're going to talk today about what he's doing with a new life now, with a new baby boy. Everybody, please welcome to the show my good friend, Jorie Myers. Jorie, what's up, brother?
Hey, man. How you feeling, brother? Thank you so much for having me on.
It is good to have you back on the program. Last time that you were on the program, we had some technical difficulties. You ended up hosting the show. Let's hope today we don't have any of those issues. Scott, welcome, man. Good to see you. The Freight Sensei join us today from Boise. Good to see you on the show, my friend. So, Jorie, man, a lot has changed since we last spoke in your life in particular. Man, what's good around the Myers household these days?
Hey, man, thank you so much again for having me on for a second time. I'm very excited to be here. And what's been the biggest change in the Myers household? I now have my very first son, my very first child, baby boy. And I'm very excited. It's been nothing but big smiles and joy around here for the last month.
Yeah, you can't really prepare for it. It's like nothing else. What has been the biggest challenge and the biggest joy that maybe you didn't anticipate ahead of time? Like, things change when it comes out of the womb.
I think, I still don't think the duty diapers stink right now. So it's been a challenge having to change those bad boys, but it hasn't been, something that I've just been, just terrified about. So, I guess it's the small things. My wife and I, we've been together since 2008. So this is a long time coming. And I'm just savoring the moments, man, just being present.
You'll never be a family of two ever again. That's just the truth. It's going to be awesome to do that. And it is. It's some of the small things that are really cool. Just like sitting. I remember sitting on the couch watching an NBA game, holding my daughter, just sitting there, just looking at her, just smiling. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing how happy you can be just holding the baby or changing a diaper. You're definitely in that honeymoon phase where the diapers don't stink. But let me tell you, my friend, that changes. You get a big blowout or something like that, or poop on your arm. It happens. I mean, it happens, right? But you love this baby more than anything. It's amazing how much you can love another person. It's really
Yes.
incredible. So congratulations to you, man. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
brother. Thank you.
Yep. And then, I'll think back to that. Every phase of fatherhood I've really enjoyed, and like that one right there, where you just get to sit there and just like just look at this baby that is like a little, just a small person. It's just amazing, and how dependent they are on you, and how they can't give you anything in return, but yet you just love them unconditionally. I mean, they start smiling, all kinds of good stuff. Man, I'm excited for you. It's so awesome.
Yes, sir. My wife and I were still in awe. Sometimes we just, you don't have to say anything. It's just those moments when you just look and you're like, oh my God, he's here.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
here. I
that's
can't
right.
believe it.
That's right. Probably the worst part I would say about having little ones is the baby carrier for the car. With
Mm,
the arch around, you got to carry it. That thing
mhm.
gets heavy after a while, my friend. Like right now, pretty lightweight. But you just wait 6 months, man. That thing's gonna get heavy on your arm. But that's probably the worst part is having to carry on all the stuff whenever you leave the house and go somewhere. And
Funny.
Mama's feeling good. Everybody's good.
Oh, mom is great. Mom wanted to get back into the gym after 2 weeks. So,
Wow,
yeah, no, it was an
that's
ideal labor and
ambitious.
delivery. It was ideal, man. Everything was great. So extremely blessed, very thankful to God for a healthy family right now. And the funny thing is, I mean, possibly I might join you Monday mornings, but that's the reason why I've been in the gym every single Monday through Friday. I'm in the gym for those moments that you just mentioned, carrying car seats, carrying everything. And that's the reason I've been preparing for the last 6 months. So I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. That's so awesome, and I'm glad that Mama's doing well. 2 weeks, that's ambitious to get back in the gym. That's impressive.
I said the same
That's really
thing.
impressive.
I said the same
That's
thing. I
awesome,
said,
man.
I don't know, man. Maybe we should wait a little bit, but hey, this is where we are now. So
Well, life will never be the same, man. Congratulations to you. That's very exciting for
thank
that.
you.
How has that impacted your sleep? We talked about this a little bit. How has it impacted your sleep?
Well, I mean, I used to be the riser at 5 a.m. and my day starts there. Just having the transportation and logistics clubhouse. Everybody that I've interviewed that's really hitting, they really talk about the value of a morning routine. And because of that, it made me say, how am I starting my day? Is it on purpose or am I just reacting to everything? So 5 a.m. used to be my go-to to wake up, get my meditation, my journaling, reading industry. But now, and also going to the gym. But now it's 4 a.m. So it's not crazy. I'm up early, and if I'm lucky, I might go to sleep at 8 p.m. or something like that. But I do value sleep a lot more. And all my friends that might hear this that said, hey, get your sleep while you can, you were definitely right because it's been interesting. And I'm not gonna lie though, having the support of my wife has really, really, really helped me as a small business owner be able to be present, and be there for my son, but also keep in mind that I'm going to have a very, very full day in, growing and expanding the things that I'm working towards.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially when you become a new parent, that head hits the pillow a little bit earlier and a little bit harder than it did in
Mhm.
previous days.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Here's my theory on parenting and marriage, real quick. I think that God tricks us, because we get married often for external reasons. Sometimes, I mean, somebody looks really good. We have a lot of fun together. We're thinking about all these things, but then you end up having to think about somebody else and serving someone else. And when you have kids, it's the same thing. You think, oh, this is going to complete us. They're so cute. They're so cuddly. But no, like you got to serve your butt off now as a dad. That's just kind of the way I believe that God uses those two vehicles, marriage and kids, to teach us how to be more like Jesus, how to serve others and think of others more than ourselves. And that's the world that you're in right now. So kudos to you, man. Congratulations. And as Scott said, welcome to fatherhood. So
Oh,
very,
thank
very cool. All right, let's talk about Clubhouse and what you're doing on that, man. You've been going strong with this. You got a great following on that. You've had some great guests. How's that going? What's the word on Clubhouse these days?
Well, I think it's going pretty great. It's a very, very nifty tool, very convenient. When I want to have a guest on, it for the most part just goes smoothly. You know, it's low maintenance. You download an app, you create a profile. It might take you 4 or 5 minutes, and after that, we're good to go to be able to share the game and extrapolate all the value that one of my guests might have, want to share, or something that I might want to highlight about them. But I think that everything is going pretty smoothly. We've been doing this now for 2 years. And for those
That's
who
awesome.
did not know, my backstory was I was working for a corporation. I was dispatching, and I really enjoyed it. I like being in supply chain. It is a place where I don't have, it's not stuffy. I can be myself. And you never know what you're going to do every single day. And it's boundless how much you can learn. So I really enjoyed it working for the corporation. And I just needed the ability to ensure that I was going to be able to make money unencumbered, even by the pandemic. So Clubhouse gave me the ability to speak to other entrepreneurs who were also dispatchers, but instead of them dispatching for a corporation in a W-2 capacity, they were independent dispatch services. And, by way of me leveraging Clubhouse early, I was able to get the understanding of what type of foundation I needed to set for myself to establish Atlanta Dispatch. But once it got going, I was realizing that a lot of people were also benefiting from the discussion. So 2 years strong of just giving out as much game as possible, and I don't think it's slowing down.
And you got a massive following. Every time I jump on there to listen, there's a lot of people that are in the room. One thing I like about Clubhouse that's different than like StreamYard. I love StreamYard and the interaction with the audience as they're watching. But on Clubhouse, you can invite them in. They can actually jump on and either ask a question or can chat a little bit. How many people do you have in your group? Because you've got a group. You've got how exactly does that work on Clubhouse? Is it just known as a club? Is that how it works?
Yeah, essentially, a club, a group.
Yeah.
Either of the two, they're interchangeable at this point. But at the Transportation and Logistics Club, actually, it has somewhere near 30,000 members.
Yeah, which is
So
incredible. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, people from all walks within transportation and logistics, and it's one of those communities that I feel like we really were able to curate. An environment of sharing and just being open. The main part was to be able to learn from something somebody else already did, so you didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And I definitely feel that that openness has allowed people to really advance themselves in their individual pursuits.
Yep. Who's coming up on your show? What guests do you have slated for the next couple weeks?
I believe we have my carrier packets coming up, and I'm
You
also
got
going to
Jay on
have,
there? Who do you have from My Carry Packets?
yes,
You got Jay? Cool. Very cool.
yeah. So I'm excited to talk to that brother, and because the fact is, as a dispatcher, it was quite a daunting task to be on the load board, go to book a load, and then in order to even get the rate confirmation, having to go through that onboarding process when
Onboarding
it was
process. Yeah,
all
yeah.
paper based. It was very manual. So to have a platform like the My Carrier Packet, it definitely streamlined the process for a dispatcher. So what they have and what they do and what they provide to the industry is definitely necessary. So I'm very excited to be able to highlight them. Outside of that, have a buddy that owns a insurance agency that I'm going to be talking to about drayage and port operations, and just the way that this whole conversation that we're probably about to have about the FMCSA, how it relates to port work as well, because it, it it gets a little tricky. It gets a little tricky and it gets a little sticky. So that's those are the next few. Those are the next couple that we have coming up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you guys aren't following Jory on Clubhouse, make sure you do that really easy. You get a notification. I think Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Is that right?
Yes,
Is that the
sir.
right time?
That is it.
Yeah, every week. I love it, man. I love getting those notifications and hopping in when I can, which is always great. So keep up the good work on that. Let's do switch gears for a minute. There have been a lot of legislation recently that has have thrown some kinks into the system. I guess if we could say that, or some challenges. The first one was AB5, which was in California. That impacted truck drivers like crazy and independent owner operators. What's interesting about that, Jory, we talked about that on the Word on the Street last week, is that a lot of the independent contractors want to be independent contractors. They don't want to be W 2 employees. And the government is just acting as if nobody wants to be an independent contractor and they're being taken advantage of. And sometimes I just think regulations like that are really overreaching. My dad was a local truck driver in Kansas City. He chose to be an independent contractor so he could take off any time that he needed as a single dad to come pick me up or, be at my sporting events or whatever it is. He chose that. He wanted that. And so some of these regulations like that, which are forcing drivers to become W-2s, could be an interesting challenge. That's impacting drayage community as well, because that's big when it comes to the ports in terms of who they rely on. So that's one. What are your thoughts on AB5 before we jump into the FMCSA's rulings?
I believe that there's two sides of the fence. If I'm talking about the fact that I've had OIDA on a few times, they're more so where you're coming from, valuing the opinion of the individual driver, the owner operator, and whatever works best for them. On the flip side, I have also had drivers who feel as though possibly been taken advantage of just a bit by their situations in the past, and this might give them a little bit more protection. I want what's best for the individual. I just don't. The fact that I do agree with you when you say that it could be a bit overreaching. I want the people to be heard and be able to do as they want to do. But outside of that, I'm just here to serve the community. I can't really tell you if it's a bad thing or a good thing because, like I said, both demographics are part of my listenership, and it works for some and it doesn't work for others.
Well, it's interesting because if you give them the option, which we have now we have the option. They can either be a W-2 or an independent contractor, depending on what the company wants to do. When the option is there, it seems like companies push more for the independent contractors, and some of the drivers may actually want to be W-2s. And so this might help in that regard, in that second instance that you just referenced, and putting that in play. But if they mandate it across the board, then it takes away the independent contractor opportunity. Which again, I'm curious about how that's all going to play out. I think it's eventually going to seep into other states. And I think it already has started to work its way because California AB5 law is enacted. So I think it's going to work its way into other states. We'll see kind of how that works out. But another one that we want to jump on real quick, and this is timely for you, is the FMCSA's recent guidelines on how to define a broker and how to define a dispatch service and what that means moving forward for our industry. And certainly that's something that impacts you and many others as well. What has been your take on the whole thing just so far? Being in the seat that you're in, how have you kind of viewed this process as it's gone through the committee?
Yes, sir. So this right here has been very long awaited. I'm excited that it's November. I'm excited that the actual discussion is more official. Although they haven't put any rules that are enforceable, the fact that they share their opinions and stated 6 things to say if you're doing this, you need to make sure that you have your broker authority. And they also stated about 9 things that said, hey, well, if this is what you're doing, you're good as an independent dispatch service and you don't need the broker authority. I'm just excited that there's been something done because just like brokers way back in the day used to have the bad rep because there was nothing governing how they were operating. I feel the same thing about independent dispatch services. Now that the FMCSA has stated these things, I'm for the majority of it. I think I'm excited. I'm excited just because independent dispatch services that are operating operating in the light, not doing anything just to make quick money or get over anybody, they're okay. We're okay with all of the guidelines that were set. So the fact that the FMCSA has made something where the industry can look at, reference, and make sure, and us as independent dispatch services are adhering to, it makes me feel like we're going to be getting a lot more legitimacy from the industry as a whole. We all know that dispatch services add value to owner operators and small fleets. So, our spot is undeniable, but now it's going to be, we have the backing, we have the platform to stand on, so that we can build from there to make sure that everybody is comfortable when they hear Atlanta dispatch, dispatcher calling and saying, I'm representing this particular motor carrier on this particular load. So I'm very excited about it. At the end of the day, it's all smiles over here.
Yeah, hopefully they get it all right. Over time it may take a little while, a few iterations to get there. But certainly, the guidelines that they put out, and you said those six things that they referenced, about being on the contract, accepting a load but not having a carrier. Those things that clearly define what a broker does. And the truth is, like anything else in life, when you have anything, there are good actors and there are bad actors, and the bad actors tend to ruin it for everybody else. And so hopefully this will eliminate or move out those bad actors as much as possible as we get more clarification, as people have to be a little more identified and what they're exactly doing, who they're representing, how that works. Because you're right, if you're a 1 truck, 2 truck, 4 truck operation, dispatching is a huge part of it. And to have an outsourced dispatcher, somebody who represents you, can be a very valuable service. So I'm glad you take that approach of being excited about it. I know some might not be excited about these types of things, but I think it's going to provide clarification. And like you said, bring a lot of legitimacy to what you guys are doing, and we'll just see where those guidelines land. Like you said, nothing enforceable yet, but we'll move in that direction. And they're getting a lot of input. I was reading some of the briefs. They're getting input from shippers, what they think of dispatch services or broker is. They're getting input from freight brokers, and they're getting input from dispatch services and from carriers. So I'm glad that they're getting all the perspectives to try to figure this out. But we'll see where it lands. But there's a lot to figure out here in the coming days. What do you love about being a dispatch service? What have been the highlights so far for you in Atlanta Dispatch?
The highlights is I get to be on the ground floor of supply chain. I get the ability to use my God-given gifts of being able to network to benefit my clients, who are the motor carriers. And because let's just say it like this: you don't have to go to college to be in supply chain. You don't. And once you're in supply chain, no matter where you start, you can actually, use that skill that you learn, and it'll benefit you if you transition, you pivot to another place in supply chain. It's just going to help you. So dispatching as an independent service has allowed me the vantage point to see all these pieces of supply chain and how they connect. And, it's just been a blessing to be able to be in a spot where I'm able to successfully use my logistical and consultative skills to bring all these entities together to make sure that, if there's a demand, I'm supplying the person that can, fill that demand, meet that need. So it's just allowed me to see different areas of supply chain. And again, this is an industry that I feel like I found at the exact right moment in my life, because it's just, I can continue to grow. There's no cap. There's no ceiling in supply chain. Everything works together, but you're never going to just know everything. There's always going to be the next service that you can add within your wheelhouse. So that's what it's done. It's given me vantage point to see everything, to see how things interrelate with one another.
I think the longer I'm in supply chain, I just realize how little I know about supply chain. I just got so much to learn, and so I feel very similar to you in that regard. And and going back to you're working with the heroes of the supply chain, the drivers that are missing opportunities with their family, who are on the road for long stretches at a time, who are taking showers and sometimes not very accommodating environments to do things like that. And so I'm sure it's cool to work also with them and just make sure that you're providing services to make their life easier and more efficient, more profitable, stay in business. All those things are great. I think the one thing too I'm excited about with some of this guideline is really helping the industry get rid of those bad actors, the ones that are double brokering, the ones that are doing the bad things, and trying to figure those things out while maintaining the value that dispatch services are bringing. If we can figure out those two things, I think that's going to be great for the industry, especially for the small, independent or a small fleet carrier. That's going to be a big win for everybody, in that regard.
I agree. I definitely agree there. And you cannot forget to mention the actual drivers, the fleet owners that I do represent. Just similar to you, I was raised by a truck driver, so I understand when those people are away, what that means to the family. And it's been a true blessing to work with the motor carriers and the drivers that I have, from the small fleets of 6, 7 trucks, all the way down to, hey, I just got my very first truck. I don't know much. I need your help to help me grow this company. I've experienced it all. I've developed relationships where, people are almost like, I promise you, a woman is almost like my mother. She's the exact same, demographic, age, where she comes from in New York, the way she speaks, so it's been very rewarding to be able to build those relationships, and not only build the relationships, but help those individuals meet their individual goals. So yes, it's definitely been a blessing to be able to be a part of that, to experience those things. And I mean, you didn't ask this, but that's the I would say that portion of the relatability between a dispatcher and the driver, that common touch, is probably the difference between that driver being willing to take that opportunity that might require them to go a little bit harder, versus staying within their comfort zone, and them not doing it. So if there are dispatchers out there, or aspiring dispatchers, that's a huge portion of dispatching, is just being relatable to your drivers and building that bond. It is what it is. But yeah, thank you so much for bringing that.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. All right, Jory, we got to pause for a minute because we have to celebrate the National Day today. Every day we celebrate the National Day on the show. Do you know what today's National Day is? It's kind of a weird one.
No, tell me.
It is National Stuffing Day. It's Thanksgiving week, so this makes sense that it's going to follow suit with Thanksgiving. Are you a stuffing lover for Thanksgiving, or no? Dressing stuffing?
Definitely. Thanksgiving food is by far my favorite food of all time. I mean, there might be a close second of brunch food, but Thanksgiving meals, whatever poultry you want, you can say chicken, you can say turkey, but dressing, stuffing, and the yams, the cornbread, the macaroni, all those things. Yeah, definitely. I can't wait. My birthday is on Thanksgiving, so I love it.
I could actually have double portions of stuffing and leave other things off the table. I love stuffing so much. Really good stuffing, homemade, is just the best. So I'm a big fan of that. What's the one like non-negotiable? What's the one like can't miss thing for Thanksgiving that you have to have? Like, if you go somewhere and they're missing this, you're done.
I would say sweet potatoes. You gotta have the sweet potatoes. Sweet potato. You can say sweet potato souffle, but that combination of sweet potato souffle and macaroni. So it's not just one. You got to have the combination. You got to have them together.
You go macaroni and the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes with the brown sugar, with the marshmallows baked in on top. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Fan.
I love it,
big fan. So candy yam, sweet potatoes. If Jorie's coming to your Thanksgiving, everybody, you got to make sure you have that. That's the non-negotiable. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Yeah, you guys having a good Thanksgiving? You have some family over? You going somewhere? You traveling? What are you doing?
A lot of family, they're coming into town with the newborn. I believe we might try to sneak in, sneak out, but it's kind of hard to say, just because you want to be safe. And I know that it's COVID, I know the pandemic is nearing the end, but we are in a spot where seasonal travel does breed a lot more germs and exposure, and it's like, that's what we're weighing at the end of the day. But a lot of family members will be coming into town, whether they're coming about 10 miles up the street, and we're going to be there at the same time. We're trying to determine.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And let's just be honest, when you have a newborn, it gives you some options. You
Yeah.
could say, "Oh, we can't make it," or "Oh, hey, can you come here because we got all the stuff, we got nap time." It gives
Yeah.
you some options when it comes to those kind of gatherings. So, but it's gonna be a good Thanksgiving, that's for sure. Okay, last thing, real quick, we got the random question of the day. We're gonna go over this, and we're gonna call it today. This question's random, Jory. I don't know if it's gonna be funny or serious or whatever, but we let our podcast director Ruth come up with it every day. So, the random question of the day today is, what's one place you've traveled that you never want to go back to? We're throwing shade at somebody today. What's one place you don't want to go
Oh,
back to?
well, this is an easy answer for me, brother. I,
What's
I
that?
I spent time in Afghanistan, and
Mm,
while it was valuable, while I got my full share of the culture, I do not need to go back to Afghanistan. I was in Kandahar on Kandahar Airfield, and I
oh
was
wow.
stationed. I was doing a project around the perimeter of this base, this airfield, where we were constantly under rocket attack, and it was definitely
Can't
an
imagine.
experience. But it's not something I need to see again because
Mm.
the Pizza Hut that we had got blown up. I don't need to
Oh
go back
man.
to Kandahar. So
I
that's
just can't even imagine what that life was like. And thank you for your service, by the way. Appreciate that
oh yeah,
tremendously.
no doubt.
Scott's the military as well.
So this is the funny part. I volunteered for this. I was not a part of the service. I went there to work as a contractor. So
Oh, you were? Okay.
I didn't even get to carry a gun.
Well, hey, you're still in the line of fire, man. I mean, that's something else. So, Kandahar it is for you. You don't want to go back there. For me, it's not a place, but it's a time. I don't want to go back to door-to-door sales. That was a pretty challenging time. It was a good experience. Learned a ton. I don't really want to go back and do that again. I'd prefer not do that, but it would be fun. I could probably have some fun with it now that I'm looking back on it. So all good. Jory, hey man, listen, round two. It's always good to have you on the program. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you on all your success. And with Clubhouse coming up, everybody make sure you follow Jory on Clubhouse and tune in for some of those awesome episodes. And we'll have to have you back in the new year, man. We're almost to the end of the year. It's crazy. So we'll have to get you back in the new year.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm happy to join. And for the folks who want to check us out, we're on the socials, transportation and logistics on Instagram, and transportation.logistics on TikTok. And if you were interested in listening to any of the sessions, you can go directly to the website, transportationandlogistics.club.
Love it. And everybody that was watching today, thanks so much. Come back tomorrow. We're going to have Chris Brewer on of River City Logistics. It's going to be a great conversation about culture and leadership. So make sure you join us then and every day at 10:30 a.m. Central for an episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, leadership. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Jory. We'll see you.